sixth place with the 125 snatch. Let's check this out. This is 146.
It looked comfortable. The pull was nice right up to hip height.
Yeah, that second pull.
He just didn't. Yeah, just needed a bit of salt and pepper.
Yeah, just a little bit more aggression.
Yeah.
Easy to say.
A little bit too still at the top of the pull.
Yeah, just a little bit too careful, I think. He just needs to just absolutely rip it a bit. But all very well for us to sit back here in the confines of this wonderful commentary position and dispense insightful knowledge.
Well, you've got to call it as you see it, and you know, they're all human. And at one stage, you take your foot off the pedal just a little bit too soon. I've done the same.
All right, let's see if he can get this Oceania junior record happening then, and also nudge in front of the New Zealander.
I think he'll get this one because the bar looks light in his hands. So I think this time here, he'll put it away.
Aggression, a little bit more aggression. Needed a second bounce, but he got there. So the Samoan camp pretty happy with that. So there it is, the Oceania junior record at second attempt by Emmanuel Limassol.
Sometimes the biggest trap in the snatch is if it feels light off the floor as you're pulling it. And then you get a little bit anxious. You want to finish it off quickly. And before you know it, it's gone. It's a very elusive lift, the snatch.
Well, here's Oliver Saxton then. Very famous weightlifting name. Pedigree that goes back to his dad all the way across there in Western Australia. I hope that he's getting to watch these pictures. I'm sure he is.
No, he's
in here, actually.
He's right there.
Yes,
he's
of course
coaching,
he is.
yes.
Of course he's coaching.
Actually, his first Commonwealth Games was my last.
Wow, look at that. Well, I saw this intriguing battle between this young man and Carl Bruce at that Pacific Games, and it was absolutely kilo for kilo all the way up to Bruce's win at 146. Saxton at that day was beaten and would not go on to Olympic representative duties later on as well. As they came out of that Pacific Games, it was Carl Bruce that went on to the Olympics.
Yes.
And Saxton, I thought, put on a remarkable show that day and felt very sorry for him that he didn't get national representative duties.
Well, I think there are a lot of reasons for that. The main one is there's a very limited quota that's available these days through the qualification process for Australia and the Oceania region. So I think once Kyle had sewn up that spot, it wasn't available. There was no other spot available after that. It had to be that spot or nothing.
But
it's pretty much like the Commonwealth Games. There's only one slot, but in this case, only one slot in this weight category or none.
Yeah, but in this case, I just felt that the contribution that Oliver Saxton was making to weightlifting, because Kyle Bruce, of course, after the Olympics, I think he's effectively retired. I haven't seen his name around recently.
He's doing a lot of coaching, I know that. He was, at one stage, I think, the president of the New South Wales Weightlifting Association, and as far as I know, Matty Wu is now the president. So he's involved. He does a little bit of coaching at his club. He's still training. So anyway, we'll see if he makes a return to the stage.
Well, he was in devastating form. I tell you what, it was an intriguing battle. These two, Bruce versus Saxton, back then at the Pacific Games, it was enthralling. Okay, so 150, and now he's going to 157. So this is where he starts just to play the hand. The reason being, I reckon he's a little bit fearful about the clean and jerk capacity of the opposition here, and he wants to clear out on them as fast as he can. If he's got a better snatch, I think he's going to maximise it.
That would be a good strategy. Now, the
start
list lists 150 as the senior Oceania record. But
wow. No wonder he took a 7 kilo jump. Crikey.
yeah, so the start list shows 150 as the Oceania senior record, and that's just been announced. But I know that in Australia, Oliver has snatched 161 at this body weight. So he still has that up his sleeve.
Wow.
So I can only assume that his 161 in Australia wasn't done in a competition that was acceptable as a Commonwealth record. Maybe the referees weren't of the required standard, I'm not sure, but I know the Australian record stands at 161 for Oliver.
Yeah, indeed. And he set that, didn't he, in Melbourne in November of last year. So here they are going up to the 160 just to give him a little bit of a break. Gee, what a family tradition this is. I mean, we talk about the big weightlifting families, don't we? The Upolongers
yeah,
here.
Well, he's got his parents coaching.
I mean, here's the Saxtons from Western Australia, and this is his mum and dad looking after him here. It's awesome. So he owns the Oceania record at 161. Set that on November 16th back in Melbourne last year.
Yeah, that was his Australian record, and now he's trying to duplicate that now and have it recognised as the Oceania senior record.
Yep. Proud moment.
He might go for 162. I noticed Miles sprinting off there, so
down the
it's
corridor
either
of
to get him
champions.
something or to make a change.
Down the corridor of champions. Yep, there it goes. You're right.
So this will be a personal best for him and a new Australian record, as well as, of course, the
Well, he looks to be
Oceania record.
It looks to be in good nick. I reckon he could be up for this.
Yep. And I have seen him snatch 165 in training, but
Wow.
again, he trains at a body weight of 98, 99 kilos, so he's had to lose some weight to get down to this. Not quite.
Not today. Anyway, he seems to be in good nick at the moment, and Oliver Saxton at the moment dominating this men's category. It's the men's 94. At the end of the snatch, it's the Australian that leads with near record-breaking style. But also not to be written off at the moment is Emmanuel Ulimasau from Samoa. Goes in with a 146. The Australian now 157 to lead. It's going to be interesting to see how those two come together in the clean and jerk. That'll be all happening in a few minutes from now. And ahead of it, as we just confirm the leaderboard, Ulimasau up there with that Oceania junior record at 146. And of course, Saxton having a crack at that 162. You can see the red against his name in position number 7 there. But certainly the standard of lifting here is right up there. Oceania and close to Commonwealth standards as well. We're going to take a break.
Sorry, I was just going to say that 162 would have also been a senior Commonwealth record.
Indeed. So that's the standard of lifting that we've got here. Rob, we're going to take a little bit of a break, suck in a couple of big deep breaths ourselves, strategize and think how these men in the 94 kilo class are going to go about their clean and jerks. This is continuing coverage of the IBFC Universal Cup. Seeing Ulimasau, the Samoan, Emmanuel Ulimasau, go after and get an Oceania junior record in the snatch at 146. And then we had Oliver Saxton as well, chasing him and his Oceania records with a big 162. Just missing 157 was what he ended up with. 162 he put on the platform. But alongside me here is Mr. Cabas, and I'm just wondering, Rob, how you're seeing the afternoon. And once again, I mean, the standard of lifting, really, it's been pretty impressive, hasn't it? And here is Saxton.
That's his 157.
Yep.
Which was an Oceania senior record. And then, as you said, he increased to 162, which would have been a Commonwealth, as well as a personal best. His Australian record stood at 161. So he's established a handy lead here because he and Uli Masao are fairly evenly matched in the clean and jerk. So the problem for Uli Masao is being evenly matched is not good enough. He has to find that extra little bit more to make up the difference in the clean and jerk and try and catch Saxton in the overall total.
So the point I was making before as well was, I mean, like I said, I saw these guys lift Saxton up against Carl Bruce. Carl Bruce eventually taking honours at the Pacific Games. But again, it was a very intriguing weightlifting competition. Bruce winning, Saxton second, and then Uli Masao sixth with 125 behind the Australians at 146, 145. And Tura as well, the Cook Islander, before he injured his shoulder in that competition, in at 107. And look at them all today and where they are in that short space of time. And I get it that the juniors are improving, but also some of the more senior members. I mean, Jerome Ta as well. Look, he posted what this afternoon, a 122. Last time I saw him on a really big stage like the Pacific Games, he's doing a 107.
Yeah. Weightlifting is a long journey, so you've got to hang in there, and then the progress will come. But don't expect any overnight improvement. I mean, we're talking 2 years there.
Yep.
So
just under.
Yeah.
Ramaniko just getting the fluids down him. How was his body weight today? Was anywhere near the... No,
he's still a big boy, though.
Yeah.
He weighed in at 91.65.
They're punching some fluids down him as he steps out onto the platform. 100, triple figures. Let's get the job done.
Oh. Well, to be honest, that didn't look heavy. It just looked a little bit sloppy. He's macked that jerk, but it just seemed to rattle overhead, and he was unable to control it. So just a little bit of lack of experience, certainly no lack of endeavor. He really smacked that jerk, but it was just, as I said, just rattling over his head and out of position.
And the elder there, just oversighting his boys. Fiji got 3 in the competition. So just a reminder for those of you that might be new to weightlifting, this is the clean and jerk section. Of course, the snatch is where the lifter has to get the weight directly overhead in one movement. Clean and jerk is it's allowed to midway point up onto the shoulders, and then of course jerk it into the air in the position above, and then a total is taken as well. So the 3 elements to the lift or the category. We're at the mix at the moment. Clean and jerk, we're underway. Ramaniko probably going to come out and follow himself here.
Some of the more experienced lifters can miss, especially when the weight doesn't look too heavy, and you can take a punt and increase anyway and move up. But 9 times out of 10 with the juniors, I think it's safety first. Make sure that they get a lift on the board, get a total, and then look at how much more you can increase after that. So I think that's a wise decision to keep him on this weight.
So he's only 15, this kid. His size and demeanour, it's he looks so much older than 15, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Gets the job done.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't me at 15, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Walks down the corridor of champions, back out here into the warm-up room. Joe Pepe, Jerry Warwick now considering his options, and it's going to be an interesting thought process here for that man in picture, because he's got a very talented weightlifter, but he's got a very hungry Australian who's just in control of proceedings at the moment.
Yes.
So how do the Samoans unsettle the Australians, and how do they play their man into the gold medal position? That's what will be racking his mind over the next 20 minutes or so.
We'd love to get into that mind.
It would be. I mean, and what a mind it is, because not only is he running weightlifting teams, he's running his own business, he's running this competition. I mean, the man just can multitask. I can barely do one thing at a time. I mean, and this guy as well, I tell you what, Henry Elder here, the Fiji coach, he too is a guy that can keep multiple hats in the air. There he is. And what a job he has done for Fiji weightlifting over the last little short term. So 3 of the Fiji lifters. It looks like the first of them is going to come out. Claude Awani going to come out at 110. So Claude unseats himself, buckles in. How important is the belt, Rob?
It's more important to some lifters than others.
Psychologically, it's doing a physical
psychologically
job.
Good, and I find especially in the clean and jerk, it's not so much about providing you support in the clean and jerk, that's part of it, but it also just keeps you firm. By the time you're clean and jerking, you're fatigued, you're tired, you need something that you feel is keeping it all together for you.
That's nice, because he was thinking about a 100 opener, and Henry got him out there with 110, so that's pretty good.
It is good, but if you remember in the snatch, he did the same thing. He elevated the weight, kept his arms straight, but then he shrugs up with his shoulders, and it just looks awkward for the referees. There's the jerk, and then he pushes his shoulders up, so that it's like two actions there.
A double movement.
Yeah, so
it could be pinged, you reckon?
It could be, not this one, but it does plant that seed of doubt in the referee's mind.
And again, you know,
and if it's accentuated, it might get you a red light.
And again, if we sort of repeat it, because the referees are seeing our big screen, they're seeing this picture as well.
That's the first
as
one.
is the crowd. Rato Tavita here, 110 for him. So Fiji having a little battle amongst themselves at the moment.
Some bragging rights at stake here.
I reckon. But I was down there earlier on, just the camaraderie but around the Fiji team. They're all in one another's arms, saying a little prayer before competition.
Yes, that's right. I saw that.
It's just a really lovely moment that they all had. It's a pretty handy lift.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne could be out next.
Now, Ramanaki is going to take a big jump after his 100.
It looks like he has. He's got 111. Crikey.
It'll be at least that, because that weight has been called already, so it's going to be at least 111. I know the other two boys will move up. Yeah.
So there's the move by the Sri Lankan team. Remember, he got his 100. There you can see it in green, and now the 111. So this is a pretty monstrous jump.
You can do it in the clean and jerk, and they're big boys, but he's going to have to knuckle down to this task.
Come on!
So far, so good. Oh, well done. Good on him.
That's really good lifting. Boy, oh boy, putting 10% on your effort like that.
He's happy with that. He's stuck his chest out and he's doing the John Wayne walk off the platform. He's happy with that.
Pretty happy. 188 the total, then 199, excuse me, Mr. Ramanaki, I apologize. Very close to that magic 200. Tuanaimato then going to come out with 113. See whether he can move ahead of his compatriots. Second attempt. It's also a pretty good lift. And he's only 14 years of age, and he's mixing it up with some pretty strong boys here in this 94 category.
Good lift and much cleaner than the other one. You know, we were talking about that upward shrug with his shoulders before, and that's not present here. He's just recovered nicely. Maybe because he had to chase it forward a little bit. He couldn't do what he normally does, and probably turned out better for him.
All right, so a little bit of a comp here, a mini comp within the men's 94 as the Fiji lifters sort themselves out. Tavita going to come out with his second attempt at 115. Wow, really good. Nice style.
Yeah, very neat. No trouble with his technique there. Looks fine. Why is he looking back? Looks a bit concerned with something. His bib, the tag on the side of his lifting suit came off. So that needs to be there so the referees and jury can identify that it's the correct lifter on the platform. That's his lot number. Especially when you have a number of lifters from the one team.
Okay. So 120 looks like it's going to be it. And interesting to see that the Fiji boys are chasing one another now to their third lifts. Both of them have nominated the 120. Awani here has gone first with his 120. So this is a big, as you can see, 7-kilo jump from his second lift.
So it must be what we were talking about. First attempt for the team, second one for the coach, third one, that's yours.
Okay.
You call it.
Come on then, Claude.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Well done.
And that's where his technique wins out for him, I reckon. Nice. Crowd love it. Crowd love it. So this young Fiji team, and I think that's going to go into the highlight reel as well. I mean,
We've had plenty of highlights today, haven't we?
Oh, so many highlights. He's got some fancy moves, and he can lift 120 kilos over his head in competition. All right, so while all that was happening, Tavita here, been checking it out. He's also got 120. Let's see whether he can dip into his good form. Nice off the platform. Two young Fiji junior lifters.
No dancing from him. He wants to look at the lights.
Yep.
And it's a good lift.
Just does the work, gets the job done. Ratu Tavita. So, again, the personality of weightlifting as well, Rob. You know,
Yes.
you get to see it in the space of 2 lifts. You know, different strokes, different folks.
Absolutely. Contrasting approach, contrasting personalities.
And it's amazing, actually, because of the 2 Fijians having just lifted the 120, it is Ratu Tavita who finishes with a 208 total, ahead of Claude Owani, who finishes with the 207. So that little battle goes the way of Ratu Tavita today.
And I'm pretty sure he knew that I need this lift to get 1 kilo ahead.
Yep. And no major celebration. Okay, Harath then. First attempt 125. This is the Sri Lankan.
.18 years old, Harath. Yep, 125 gives him no trouble, just a little step forward just to steady himself, otherwise no problem. So we may see a reasonable sized jump here for him. He jumped 7 and 5 in the snatch, missing the last snatch, so clean and jerks are probably a lift where you can make those big jumps.
A little more forgiving, eh?
A little more forgiving. And also you can start just a little bit lighter, make a bigger jump, 7 kilos, 10 kilos, and you're not wasting any energy on some of those bigger weights.
Here's Yahya Muhammad Abdullah from Brunei. There would be options for him to be lifting in Asia. Why do you think he's come down here, Rob?
Good question. Maybe there aren't that many open events in Asia that he can enter. It's only the Asian Championships. Perhaps there's someone else representing at the Asian Championships, or Brunei is not sending a team. So a number of...
Well, there's an interesting take on the clean and jerk, and when you see it in slow-mo, maybe you can explain for the viewers that might be new to the sport why his technique is a little bit different to all the others.
Yeah, sure. So the clean is pretty regular. It's a power clean, so it's an easy clean, but also coupled with a power jerk. In other words, he doesn't use the traditional method of splitting, 1 foot forward, 1 foot behind. So in that split position, he's just power jerking it. So he feels he's strong enough overhead, he can save a bit of energy and just employ the power jerk. You can get away with it if you're particularly strong, you've got strong legs and a good lockout. Otherwise, the other reason I've seen lifters use the power jerk is they just cannot master their split jerk. You know, just driving it straight up while moving your feet apart. Sometimes they just find that a bit too difficult to master, and the power jerk is easier for them. So it's not that they're much stronger in the power jerk, they just have trouble mastering the split jerk.
But I would imagine that there's some sort of time and motion studies and analysis as well in terms of leverage and weights and stuff like that that would have an answer on which is probably the more efficient, isn't there?
Well, probably if you go into that, you'll get into the area of the squat jerk. I'm sure there are plenty of research.
Back to our Chinese brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, 133, and perhaps we'll see a squat jerk before the end of competition tomorrow. Herath here with 133, his second attempt.
So as we suggested, it's an 8 kilo jump in the jerk from his second. Hold. Now he stepped back a little bit there because he doesn't want to drop the bar off the platform, which would be a cause for ruling the lift out. He controlled it well enough. So a good lift.
So this is action live from the IBFC Universal Cup. We're in the midst of the men's 94 class. We've got an Australian leading at the end of the snatch competition, Oliver Saxton. We've got a New Zealander breathing down his neck, and also a very talented Samoan, Emmanuel Ulimasau, not too far away from the Australian as well, splitting both the Trans-Tasman rivals, the Australian and the New Zealander. Should be a good battle when it's rejoined very, very soon. There's the corridor of champions back into the warm-up room. So he would travel here from Brunei with his coach and assistants?
It could be, I mean, I guess so. Ideally you would do that. I have traveled myself to competitions without any people accompanying us, but depends on your level of experience and so on. So what you need basically there, they don't seem to be giving him any particular instructions or anything like that. So perhaps what you need in a competition like this is someone to count the attempts for you. So as he's sitting there, he knows they'll estimate, okay, we've had a look at the attempt board. You've got maybe 6 attempts before you're on. Then he makes the decision, okay, I'll just sit it out. Or no, I need to go back into the weight room and do a few more warm-ups.
There's the state of play at the moment. As you can see, we've got some of the lighter lifts away, but there's still a few to come. And Samoa all eyes on position number 2, of course, Emmanuel Ulimasau. And then in position number 7 is the Australian Oliver Saxton, who did extremely well. Herath then just about ready to make a move.
Yep, 6 kilo jump for his final attempt, 139. No.
Wow. So the 133 is his best?
Yep. So that was the sort of weight that really needs to be in the slot for him to succeed. It didn't look out of his range completely, but everything had to work out right for him to be able to succeed with that. And it didn't.
It definitely did not. So Herath then is going to come back for his third and final. And that's rubbed out, of course, so that's his 240 total. Finishes alongside of Yaya from Brunei as well with his 240 that he's got at the moment, although he's still got the 2 lifts in hand.
And he likes his 10 kilo jumps. Yeah.
6 lifters yet to come. 1 from Fiji, 1 from Australia, 1 New Zealand, 1 from the Cook Islands, Marshall Islands as well, and Samoa. So still, as we watch Yaya here.
So the power jerk didn't work for him here. Look, to me, he looks like a strong enough guy, but perhaps the type of training he's done previously has tightened him up a little bit. Maybe the reason he power jerks is he doesn't have the flexibility to do to move into the split jerk and be able to lock the bar out.
Well, he's likely to follow himself, I would suggest. Hepzibah there, the other Fijian, waiting in the wings, getting a nice little cool sea breeze in the afternoon. Abdullah here. Yeah. See how he manages this 140. Third attempt. Well, he was determined to stick it. Let's see what they think. They think it's all right, and he's pretty happy with that. So
well, he's pulled out the split jerk for his last attempt.
And he'll take that back to Brunei. So a 250 total for him then at the end of his afternoon's work.
250, yep.
Hepzibah out for his 145. The most accomplished of the three Fijians that we've had here today. One of the features which has been pretty fun this week has been some of the school kids have been allocated nations to support, and Fiji in particular, I don't know why, they just seem to be particularly vocal in the Fiji team. Samoa won, of course, by a long shot, but Fiji would be number 2 for sure. Hepzibah then. So Hepzibah are going to go higher. But all eyes a little bit later on tonight as well, Rob. We can draw your attention to the women's 86 kilo category, and we've got a very handy lifter in the women's that's going to be following this men's competition a little bit later on today here in Samoa. And Darling Thikamatano, I'm thinking about in particular in that women's 86.
Yes, definitely one of the stars of Oceania and the Commonwealth, and of course on the world stage she has won medals at Olympic Games and World Championships.
World ranked for sure. Hepzibah just taking in this lovely afternoon breeze, blowing in through the double doors here at this wonderful Faleata Sports Complex. Well, okay, so Marshall's making a little bit of a move. 150. Tanaka Jens Massey going to make a move next at 150. No, Fiji's going higher. They want 150 first. Hepzibah will go first with 150. We'll see the Marshall lifter in just a moment. Well, he had to fight, and he had to fight pretty hard, but he got there with his 150.
It wasn't easy by any means, but he fought it through, so he wasn't going to give up. Low bottom position, which means he had to work hard to get out of the clean. The bar was on his fingertips in the jerk, but he managed to stabilize it. No problems there, locked out. It was a good solid lift. Now he's going to need a little bit of a rest, gather his thoughts, and see what he can come out and do for his third attempt.
That's in there. Here's the Marshall Islands lifter then. Kentucky. Looking pretty good with his 151. See what the judges think. They like it.
He's jogging off the platform. He's energized by that first attempt.
Yeah. Hepzibah then, 151. We'll see him out. Yet to come, Tura, the Cook Islander, looks like he's nominating a 158. He's not too far away. Xavier Albert, the Kiwi, in at 165. He'll follow. And then it's going to be a battle between the Australian, Oliver Saxton, and Emmanuel William-Asau from Samoa. Both are nominating their opening clean and jerks at 180. So the big boys just sort of lining up out the back at the moment. They'll just clear Hepzibah out here, and then some big numbers start to be thrown around.
I originally wouldn't have expected William-Asau to come out for that 180. The trend with the Samoans for the last couple of categories has been to come out 2 or 3 kilos lighter than they've nominated. But in this case, I guess he's a little bit behind in the snatch, and they don't want to start too light with too much ground to try and reel Saxton in. So that's the quandary for them. How do they approach that? Do they make sure of the junior gold medal first here on his hometown and get on the podium in first place, and then worry about chasing Saxton?
Well, these are the considerations that we were sort of contemplating that Joe Pepe, Jerry Warwick would have been having on his mind about 20 minutes ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
And this again is the sort of the intricacy and the complexity of this game. It's a game of chess, really, moving weights around and throwing your players at those weights.
Yeah, you only have 3 attempts. You've got to use them as wisely as possible, and they go pretty quick.
Hepzibah, 155, third attempt. Lots of support, trying to get him home here.
No.
All right. 150, who's best then?
He gave it all he had, but this time that clean was just a little bit harder even than his second attempt, and I think that just took a little bit too much out of him. So 150 is his second attempt. He'll have to settle with that, plus his 115 snatch gives him a 265 total.
It does indeed, confirming that. Okay, so let's have a look then as Hepzibah, Fiji, wraps up his contribution to this tournament. Jerome Ta then going to come out to play. And this, I remind you, is the guy that hurt his shoulder at the Pacific Games a year or so ago. And a year earlier than that, at the New Zealand Nationals, he was clean and jerking 140 for 250 total. So he's made some significant progress since then.
Yep, 158 sees him as onto the platform here.
Nice. He's going to get that. Yes, he is.
A little bit sloppy, but nothing against the rules there. So he fought it out, did his job, and then let the referees do their job.
Yeah, so weightlifting making a little bit of a comeback in the Cook Islands as well. We mentioned Louisa Peters, who herself in the day was a pretty handy lifter as well.
Yes.
She's gone on to become president of the Cook Islands National Olympic Committee. That's happened in April last year. So with the mini games getting across to the Cook Islands as well, this could be one of the sports that they might want to think about in terms of being able to invite the rest of the Pacific to, and maybe have a couple of competitive lifters, and maybe a guy like Mr. Tura here, Jerome Ta, could perhaps mentor a group of younger lifters and
certainly play a part in that.
So Pepe Jerry Warwick, and the affiliation here with the Marshall Islander is that he spent a little bit of time here at the Oceania Institute, and that accounts for some pretty substantial increases in his capacities in weight.
Yep.
When we last saw him at the mini games where he was doing 145 clean and jerks, that was last year.
Anytime you have to make an adjustment at the bottom of a clean that's at your very maximum, it takes a hell of a lot out of you. And once you get up for that jerk, it feels like a ton on your chest. You've got to gather your thoughts. You've got to try and drive it as hard as you can in the along the right path. It was just too much.
So what sort of training can you do for that, Rob? I mean, is there a protocol of training you can do where you sort of simulate pressure and weight on the top of your collarbone, or?
Yep, absolutely. So there are a number of exercises you can do to prepare for that, and also to prepare for the fact that you may be fatigued by the time you get out of the clean. There's an exercise where you clean the weight and you do 3 front squats and then you do your jerk. So that doesn't have to be particularly heavy, but it does tire you out. So when you're standing up, you're a little bit fatigued.
It's sort of simulating.
But the weight itself is not that heavy. The other exercise, approaching it from the other direction, is you load up the bar on what would normally be the squat racks, and you load that up. Let's say your best jerk is 200. You load it up to 240. And you take it out of the rack and you simulate the dip a little bit, or you can control it on the way up and down. So you're used to holding that heavy weight on your chest without having it push too far back on your throat as well. So you approach it from both directions. One, the actual feeling of that excessively heavy weight. The other one is battling the fatigue when you come out of the squat climb.
So Mr. McTaggart, who did so well in the competition last night, helping in the Kiwis corner this afternoon, just moving across to that table. I wonder what the Kiwis might have in store for us. Atanaki now got a big weight on his shoulders.
Oh, that was even harder than the last one. No. So it was a valiant effort, but yeah, too tough.
Yep, so he comes away with his 151, but it's not to be taken lightly because, as I said, just last year at the Mini Pacific Games, he was doing 145. So under competition circumstances, he'd have to be pretty happy with that.
Oh, he'd be happy with the total, that's for sure. And, once you start tasting those big weights, then they're no longer big in your mind. Okay, I missed it, but now I know what that feels like, and now I really want it.
So here's Jerome Ta. And to complicate matters in this guy's life, not only the shoulder injury after the Pacific Games, but then he had another injury, which I think was his Achilles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2 bad ones.
In fact, that required surgery. Wow, he's done well.
He has.
This is really good lifting by Jerome Ta.
No, he's had to step through in the jerk. Yep, that's what I was hoping, that he would be rewarded for that.
He'd have to be stoked with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as I said, the mini games coming across to the Cook Islands in the next couple of years, and I'm not sure whether he'll still be competitive by then, but certainly he could have a bit of an impact on a new young crew of Cook Island weightlifters.
Sometimes the motivation of something like that on the horizon, will keep you going for a little bit longer than you maybe would have originally planned to. So it's in a couple of years, yeah?
Yes, it is. In fact,
so he may be 35 by then, 36,
yeah,
which is not unheard of.
I get a feeling that Andrea Minogue and Vidya Lakan are going to be in the Cook Islands this time next week, looking over proposals and having a chat to the government, seeing how things are going. And it'll be 2 years away, I think.
Okay, yeah, so it's doable for him, that's for sure. If he keeps himself healthy, just keeps on training, all you got to do is just keep on being active.
So McTaggart coming down, just having a little bit of a natter, I should say. And here is the New Zealander at the moment, Xavier Alberts. Came to weightlifting relatively late, actually.
Is this Albert, or are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but Jerome Ta first. This 170, this is very big.
It's a big weight, that's for sure.
And for him as well. I mean, shoulder injury in the Pacific Games Honolulu. He comes back from Achilles surgery. And the 170. So he started at 158, got his 165. And now the lift of lifts for the man from Mauke, the island, one of the other islands in the Cook group.
Well, he's going to give it a good crack, that's for sure.
A little bit too
Not
much today.
quite there.
And just having a look at that Achilles that required surgery, and now he's okay. But 165, I reckon he'll be pretty stoked with that. I reckon that was a pretty couple of good days outing for him.
He really chased it though. The clean was a little bit in front, but he hung on to it, forced his way up, and that wasn't that far off.
Well, the decks are now cleared. So is the platform, and the big boys come out to play because we've got Oliver Saxton, the Australian, Xavier Albert, the New Zealander, and we've got Emmanuel Ulimasau, the Samoan. First roll of the dice as the big boys try and dispute who's going to finish top of this podium is this man. Xavier Albert comes out with his 171. New Zealand's senior rep at this Universal Cup in this particular category, of course. And has set a plan to get to the Commonwealth Games. Let's see whether there's going to be a factor in it. Well, that's a disappointment. That 171, it is a very difficult part of weightlifting. If you don't get the timing right as you come up and you have 171 kilos pressing down on the top of your lungs, thorax, all of a sudden the lights start to slowly go out, and that's what's happened here, I think. Xavier just having to throw the 171 away. Rob?
It's a big start. It's a big start for him because he's registered best is 172, but he's in that precarious situation. He's ranked 9th in the Commonwealth Games rankings for Glasgow. So any total for him under 320 is no good. So I think that's where he's looking at. And unfortunately, his strong lift is the snatch.
And it's interesting, look at the response from the Samoans. They've seen perhaps a chink in the armour of the New Zealanders. And here's the Australian as well. Miles Waddell comes across to have a look at what's going on. They've seen...
I think Miles just wants to see what Jerry's done.
I think he does. I think they're very inquisitive, and you can see the wry smile, and I think Jerry might be just giving him a little bit of a side eye there as well.
No, I think Jerry just went in there and pretended to change it again.
And this is the dynamic of the sport. I mean, it's this backroom stuff which is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Because while the guys are out here absolutely hammering these monster weights, out the back there's another dynamic as well. It's multi-dimensional. Okay, so the Samoans are circling. The Australian is out in front. Mr. Matagat is in close proximity after his devastating lifting last night. So Xavier then with 171, and he and his coach did set out on a plan, on a path to try and get him to Glasgow, and this competition would have to be factored into that plan.
Plans can change, unfortunately, on the weightlifting platform, and he's going to be faced with the dilemma. Well, do I want to total here, get a medal in international competition, or is my goal still focused on Glasgow? And I know that I need 320 for that, which is 177 clean jack, 6 kilos more than this.
And 171 already.
171 already proving heavy.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think his plan now has to be, I've got to pull something out of the fire here and get something out of this competition. If it has to be the medal here in international competition, then that's the way it has to be.
The iron sport, it is an awesome sport, but it can be absolutely brutal, and it is just hammering poor Xavier here at the moment.
There is nowhere for you to hide on that platform.
There is 171, and it's forlorn as he looks into the depths of the platform. Taggart there as well. What do you do? How do you go? And where do you go? And now, of course, once again, he's staring into the face of a possible bomb.
Yeah.
And this is a year where he wanted just to cruise into Glasgow and get to the Commonwealth Games.
Yep. So I haven't seen him lift before, so I'm not going to pass any judgment on the body language. But it hasn't been encouraging. But that may be his normal approach,
well,
so let's not make any hasty judgment.
And we've seen it before. We've seen this remarkable New Zealand team pull out some super lifts this week.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the women in the 77 category.
Incredible.
There were some real clutch lifts that were successful there.
So this is a clutch lift and a half for this young man. Now 28 years of age. He knows that clock is ticking on his competitive career as well. Glasgow is just over the horizon, but this 171, it's a wall, it's a barrier. Is it going to be a denier? Looking good. Xavier Albert, we feel for you. Bro, you have no idea how we feel for you. And as he walks off to get some fresh air and reflect quietly, the crescendo rises for their champion. Eri Masao struts out onto the platform. The body language is different. The shoulders are back. The roar is on. And 175 now for him.
A success with this clean and jerk would set a new Oceania junior record in the total. We saw something similar in the snatch. I'm sure he was capable of more than 146 in the snatch, but we saw something similar in that the pull was comfortable. It was just smoothly moving along, but it just didn't finish it off.
Well, we saw him in devastating form at the Oceania Juniors last year. I mean, you know, the guy's moved on in prodigious, ridiculous improvements. 2025 wins 3 gold medals in the men's 94 category at the Pacific Games in Palau, 3 new Oceania records and 3 new Pacific Games records, and personal best for him as he went through that. And here he's got Oceania records beckoning his well. He's already gone 1. Okay, once again, the champ strides out onto the platform.
He's not wasting any time. There's still 1 minute on the clock, so he's got plenty of time to approach this, but he's fired up. He just wants to get it done.
Samoan turbocharger. This crowd brings it home for it. Once again, the crowd does it. I'm sure it's got something to do with this crowd here. Brilliant. Confirming a new record with a 175, Rob.
Yeah. So he's got a new total record, and importantly, it pushes him up just a couple of notches on the qualifying list for the Commonwealth Games, because as I said, at the moment 319 is 8th place, but you would expect that to be increased with African Championships, Asian Championships, Pan American Championships, British Championships coming up. So you've got to, you know, bump up your total as much as possible now. Don't rely on what the current rankings are showing you, but no doubt they will increase.
Well, he's got a 321 with a lift to come, so he's certainly in the margins and certainly banging on that Glasgow door. But so is this young man as well, Oliver Saxton, with his mum and dad in his corner. From WA, the famous Ox Club over there, and it's a very good afternoon to you all if you're joining us here in wonderful Apia as we bring this 94 men's category to a wonderful crescendo. 180 for Oliver Saxton.
Look, without wanting to call the game too early, I think if he's successful with this, he'll wrap up the category and then he can aim at some larger weights in the clean and jerk. That looks comfortable. Yep.
And that's wonderful. Wonderful lifting by the Australian. As I said, I saw him in that battle at the Pacific Games a couple of years ago, and here he is now. He's the pace setter. In those days it was Kyle Bruce, but now it's this young man.
Now with this clean and jerk of 180 combined with his 157 snatch, that's a new Oceania record in the total.
That's fantastic. Well, it's happening all over the place now. Ulima Sao with 1 to go. So Jerry Warwick. So just confirming another record attempt here by Ulima Sao.
He holds the current Oceania junior record at 180. So with his previous attempt, he established a new total record. With this one, he would do both, establish a new total and clean and jerk record.
But before that, we see Oliver Saxton moving out as well with his Oceania records. Well, clean and jerk. No, he's well off of that at the moment. Commonwealth junior record is 188. Are you seeing that?
Look, according to, I'm only going by the start list standards, so it's not held by anyone in particular, and it's the standard for the senior record is 197.
I've got a 188 in the Commonwealth juniors set by
Oh, you mean the junior record? 186 is what I've got as a standard for that. So
okay, I got a 188 set by Chowdhury, the Indian in Ahmedabad in India last year.
right. That would be the record then.
Okay, Saxton then, 188. Big stuff here. Records tumbling. Every lift they come out, these guys are smashing records. Oh, Mum and Dad Saxton are pumped. Look at Dad go. The double fist pump. The 188 is good in the slanting afternoon sun here in Apia.
So that has completely shut the door now. Had he failed with that, then Uli Masao would have gone for 189, which would have put him ahead of Saxton. But this has shut the door now.
Uli Masao then comes out. Gee, he's really keen. He's busy. He wants to get out there and he wants to give this 188 a hiding. Not mucking around. Wants to get the job done. And there it lies. But nevertheless, some fantastic Oceania records of this young man, Uli Masao. Made some massive improvements in the last year. Glasgow beckons. He's got the total that can get him there. He's got a 321 total. He's in the rankings list for Glasgow with this afternoon's work. More to come. But this young man will be carrying the hopes of Samoa and the Pacific in Glasgow. So now, with one lift remaining in this men's comp, what's Oliver Saxton going to do?
Well, the call is 190 at the moment.
Aussies have gone and marked it off.
Change.
Well, 195 they're calling for. Just shuffling through the records here now.
I think we're looking at Oceania records and naturally, of course, Australian records, but it's just a little bit shy of the Commonwealth records.
I got the Commonwealth record at 200.
Yeah.
Clean and jerk. I've got it by the Mohammed Sayana in Norway.
Malaysia?
In Norway in December.
Malaysia?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they've exceeded the standards that have been listed in this program, so it makes sense. And Norway, of course, was the World Championships.
Yep,
so
it was.
It would qualify then.
In December.
Yep. So that would be as the recognised record.
195 Saxton. Incredible lifting by this Australian from Western Australia. Whoa, whoa. Oliver Saxton, we salute you. Great effort, Aussie. Like I said, when I last saw him in a big competition, the Pacific, it was the Pacific Games, he was at 182. And here, a massive improvement to 188 with a 345 total as well. Oliver Saxton is going to Glasgow. There's no doubt about that, Rob.
Yes, his 345 total is an Australian record, and he was already ranked third in the rankings for the Commonwealth Games. So even if there are last-minute improvements and so on, I can't see him dropping out of the top 8.
Brilliant work by the Australian. Well, what an afternoon it's been. It was a wonderful three-way tussle that absolute heartbreak, of course, is for Xavier Albert of New Zealand to put that 171 down in 3 successive lifts for the terrible bomb to him. Emmanuel Ulimasau was brave taking it up to the Australian, but on the day it was Oliver Saxton, the Aussie, with his big 188 in the clean and jerk and his 345 that's taken the men's 94 after he wrapped up as well. But don't write off Ulimasau yet. He's come through with a number of Oceania junior records on the way through as well. There's a confirmation of the scoreboard at the end of the men's 94. Again, what another wonderful afternoon of weightlifting we've had here. It's been such high caliber, such high standard. We're challenging Commonwealth records and we're making news headlines in the weightlifting world here in Apia. It is absolutely brilliant what these young lifters are doing. We congratulate them. Thanks for your company. We've got another session not too far away here in beautiful Apia at the IBFC Universal Cup, and that will be the women's 86, and stepping up onto the platform will be the mighty Eileen Thikamatana, who once lifted for Fiji and then moved it down to Australia, and the combination with Paul Coffer has taken her to the top of the world as well. What will she be able to turn on for us here this evening in Apia remains to be seen. But if you want to find out, stick around, because it's not...
Just the one. Vamos, Morales.
Xavier Albert, we feel for you. Bro, you have no...
Accompanied by our very special guest, Miss Global 2025, Miss Van from Vietnam. Medals for the snatch portion of the competition for the Universal Weightlifting Cup. The bronze medalist representing New Zealand, Xavier Albert. The silver medalist representing Samoa, Emmanuel Ulimasau. The gold medalist representing Australia, Oliver Saxton. Thank you, lifters. Medals for the Universal Cup, clean and jerk. The bronze medalist representing the Cook Islands, Jerome Ta. The silver medalist representing Samoa, Emmanuel Ulimasau. The gold medalist representing Australia, Oliver Saxton. Thank you, lifters. Medals for the total. The bronze medalist representing the Cook Islands, Jerome Ta. The silver medalist representing Samoa, Emmanuel Olumaseo. The gold medalist and Universal Weightlifting Cup champion representing Australia, Oliver Saxton. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the national anthem of Australia? Thank you, lifters. The medal ceremony for the Oceania Championships. The bronze medalist representing the Cook Islands, Jerome Ta. The bronze medalist, Jerome Ta. The silver medalist representing Samoa, Emmanuel Olumaseo. The gold medalist and Oceania champion representing Australia, Oliver Saxton. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the national anthem of Australia? Thank you, lifters.
Now, the next one, wait, the next one.
The medal ceremony for the Oceania Junior and Oceania Youth Championships will take place shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the Oceania Junior and Youth Championships. Would you please congratulate our medalists? For the Oceania Junior Championships, the bronze medalist representing Fiji, Rakfu Tabakachikoro. The silver medalist representing the Marshall Islands, Atantake Yanmasi. The gold medalist with a new Oceania Junior record in both the snatch and total, representing Samoa, Emmanuel Olumaseo. Thank you, lifters. Medal ceremony for the Oceania Youth Championships. The gold medalist and Oceania Youth Champion representing Fiji, Claude Ioni. Thank you, lifters. The medal ceremony for the Commonwealth Junior and Youth Championships will take place very shortly.
So a month or two up here in Samoa. Cook Power does the job, 122.
Would you please make welcome our medalists for the Commonwealth Youth and Junior Championships.
Wow, no wonder he took the 7 kilo.
Commonwealth Junior Championships competition, the silver medalists representing Sri Lanka, Malaysia Tanasiaka. The gold medalist and Commonwealth Junior Champion representing Samoa, Emmanuel Olumaseo. Thank you, lifters. Medalists for the Commonwealth Youth Championships. The silver medalist representing Sri Lanka, Ramithu Ramaniyake. The gold medalist and Commonwealth Youth Champion representing Fiji, Claude Ioane. Thank you, lifters. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formalities for the men's 94 kilogram category. We thank our VIPs and dignitaries for their assistance with the medal presentation, with a very special thank you to Miss Global 2025 for her assistance. The presentation of lifters for the next session of competition will take place in approximately 10 minutes.
He had to fight pretty hard, but he got there with his 140. Well, he was determined to stick it.
Step back a little bit there because he doesn't want to.
March off the platform. Two young Fiji junior men.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Well done.
And that's where his technique wins out for him, I reckon.
Well done. Good on you.
That's really good. '88 is done. It can also be a place of great pleasure, happiness, and accomplishment. And if that's the result, you'll be happy. That looked a little bit more accomplished. So a month or two up here in Samoa. Cook Power does the job, 122. Thursday into the evening here in Apia. The sun begins to dip behind the mighty Pacific Ocean. And I tell you what, as the world turns, we move on to the women's 86 kilo class. It's going to be an absolute beauty, and it brings to the stage one of the great champions of our part of the world, Eileen Fikamatana, who is absolutely world class. And she's going to be out here alongside of 11 other competitors in this women's 86 kilo category. We'll be presenting them to you in just a moment as the athletes come out from behind and onto the platform. Rob Cabas is alongside me, and Rob, big night, lots of noise, and once again the scene is set, I think, for probably some historic weightlifting and some big numbers.
Yes, absolutely. I know some people have made a special effort to come in tonight to watch Eileen compete, and she's a definite draw card wherever she goes. She has personality, she has ability, and she's a world-class athlete.
Well, I tell you what, in case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of sound around us here in our broadcast position, but that's all part of this wonderful atmosphere. Let's take you down, and if we can hear him, our MC is about to introduce you to our lifters. As you can see, they're now arranged out on the platform. Yes, Medea Jones, the New Zealander, with a 2:05 entry. Aja Pritchard Lolo alongside her. Hugo from Papua New Guinea. Simone from New Caledonia. And Denny Darbin alongside her as well. They are absolutely thrilled to be here. They've had some good results for New Caledonians. Kalitawa from Fiji, entry list of 212. Kalu from Sri Lanka with a 149. Sua from New Zealand, Talia Sua. Another Galilevu from New Zealand with a 235 she brings in here tonight. Marianne from Marshall Islands. And Eileen Thikamatana, the Australian, with a big 250 starting number against her name. These are our competitors in the women's 86 kilo category tonight, and it will be an absolute wonderful occasion. We're looking forward to some serious lifts and some serious numbers. Rob, as we look at the platform and Medea Jones, they're just rehearsing and getting her sightlines organised. Eileen Thikamatana for mine, probably got a little bit too much class here for everyone.
You would think so, on paper, and in fact, I mean, there are not too many lifters around the whole world that provide her with competition. She's at the very, very top of the tree in weightlifting, so it'll be interesting to see how she goes here, though, because sometimes she will start on a moderate weight, then take big jumps, or sometimes she will go through and try and get 6 out of 6 and leave her third attempt for her to try something big. So it'll depend on her overall preparation. Is she on a long-term training plan aimed to peak at Glasgow at the Commonwealth Games, or is she looking for a hit out here, then to rest a little bit and then peak up again for Glasgow? We'll soon find out.
Now they got in Lavu from New Zealand, could be a bit of a handful. She comes with a 235 total. And Talitawa as well, the other Fijian, or the Fijian I should say, comes in with a 212. So she's added a few kilos to her total since I've last seen her.
Yes, the New Zealander is ranked third currently in the Commonwealth Games rankings with a 240. So she's capable of more, and if she improves on that 240, well, who knows what she can do. And we've seen, as you've mentioned before, we've seen large improvements by some of the competitors today with Glasgow on the horizon. So she may very well improve on that 240.
Well, it remains to be seen what is going to transpire here, but on paper, Eileen Thikamatana is definitely the player to beat here tonight as we just pan softly across the lifting platform. And just before we take off for a little bit of a break as we set, here is Oliver Saxton just smashing records as he went to work earlier on this afternoon in the men's.
That was 157 kilogram, his second attempt snatch, which was a senior Oceania record. After that, he wanted to try 162 kilograms, which would have been multiple records, a personal best, obviously, an Australian record, and an increase on his Oceania record and a Commonwealth senior record.
And seemingly doing enough as well to get him through to Glasgow as well at this stage on the rankings list.
You would think so. I can't see him slipping out of the top 8.
And this lady in picture as well up on the big screen, of course, is the get set with the bar and the women's 86 kilo category. She also is, we think, pretty much Glasgow bound as well. But we're going to find out that and a whole lot more when we come back in about 5 minutes from now, because the 11 lifters in the women's 86 category will bring in Samoa. We'll be back with all that after this break. Crowds are in, the excitement is building. We've got the women in the 86 kilo category just about to get out and do their thing. There's 11 lifters headlined by Eileen Thikamatana, the Australian former Fiji champ. is going to be out here tonight in what we hope and probably will be a consolidation of her position as far as the Glasgow Commonwealth Games are concerned, and for others as well. There are still many points on offer and perhaps a chance also to get through to Scotland at the end of July. I'm joined in commentary this evening by the great man, Robert Cabas, who is a silver medalist from the Olympic Games in Los Angeles back in '84. That was the year, of course, that Dean Lucan took out that big gold medal in the Supers. And you might remember he carried Paul Coffer across the stage on that particular occasion. Will Eileen Thikamatana carry Paul Coffer across the stage here this afternoon or this evening? To find out, Rob Cabas, what do you think? You've had your fair share of Commonwealth medals. It's something that all athletes aspire to, and will she be carrying him high on the platform this evening?
I must confess that I'm a member of the Lift Paul Coffer Up After You Win a Gold Medal.
Oh, really? You too?
And that was captured on TV at the 1982 Commonwealth Games that we held in Brisbane. So I can't say too much about that. I'm a member. I am a member of that club.
I mean, this guy always seems to get himself carried around weightlifting platforms, doesn't he?
Well, he's just the right size.
So having a look at the field then, what are you thinking?
Look, as we said when the athletes were lining up, Eileen seems to be the standout here, and we'll look as to how she approaches this competition. It will all depend on her the training plan that Paul has devised for her. Is it a long-term plan aimed at Glasgow? Is it flexible? If she's looking good, well, let's just go for it. So all these questions will be answered shortly. We don't know the answers to these questions. Obviously, there's something that's discussed between lifter and coach.
Indeed. And so how long is this strategic planning? I mean, does it last years? I mean, are you preparing for Glasgow 4 years out every cycle?
No. I mean, she's at that level where I think 12 weeks will be termed a long-term plan. So we are 63 kilograms on the bar for the first attempt to get this session going. Kalu of Sri Lanka.
So, of course, remembering that Sri Lanka, India, and a number of other countries are all aspiring to get to Glasgow as well. And we here in Oceania are in the mix big time. And there are a number of Indian and Sri Lankan lifters that we've seen all week that have really improved their chances of making it to Scotland in July.
I think in this particular weight class, because it's not a very heavily contested weight class, we should be ignoring, or the lifters should be ignoring, what the current Commonwealth ranking list is saying, because for argument's sake, the 8th place total is 180, which is very low, and I think that would tempt people to move up from another category to try and get in that way. And in fact, in the B group, or rather the 77 plus youth group, so Sulufu of Samoa already posted a 222 total, which would put her in contention for a Commonwealth Games selection.
Indeed. Okay, so here's a champ from Papua New Guinea that we've seen go around on a number of occasions. Iga from Papua New Guinea getting her campaign away with a 65 snatch. And yes, that's right. She was one of the elite crew that, for those of you with a long Pacific Games memory, might remember back in Apia in 2019, she was here when she took out a silver medal in the clean and jerk and total, and she bronzed in the snatch back then, lifting in the women's 81. She's gone up a category or two. And is that Mr. Kari we're seeing with his back turned to us at the moment?
That's been the question in my mind all week. I don't think it is, but we'll have to find out.
Okay, so Noir Bernadette and Kalu here going to have a little bit of a battle as they sort themselves out. 67 kilos on the bars. Good lift.
Good lift. Of course, apart from the medal contenders and the leaders in every session, really, there's always 1 or 2 or 3 battles that are going on further down the rankings that also keep you engaged and intrigued. And they're little battles. Sometimes the lifters know each other. They could be an ongoing fight for supremacy or bragging rights. So right down the rankings, you will see little skirmishes going on, and the coaches have to be on their toes to make sure that their lifter is placing as high as possible.
Adele Simon, New Caledonia pulled a couple of medals out of the competition here and rebuilding the sport of weightlifting up in New Cal after the Oceania Weightlifting Centre moved out a couple of years ago. Good to see them back. But Adele going to have to do a little. So she will follow herself. So for a young lifter, of course, this is a very important learning curve. And I'm sure she's going to be inspired by the medal that young Zoe Magnetti pulled out of the women's 77 earlier on today. Big moment for New Caledonia. In fact, there's a sort of couple of facsimile barbells out the front, and Zoe was having a photo taken, and I'm sure that'll be all over the New Cal press tonight. Big story with weightlifting on its way back in New Caledonia. Well, this time she goes the other way.
Well, I think the effort was there. I think she recognized in the last one she may have tightened up a little bit, didn't get enough height on it, didn't finish it off. And in this particular case, she tried to do that, perhaps a little bit maybe too early, and ended up swinging the bar. And once the bar starts moving backward, it's very hard to control it. Now, Adele is one of the older competitors in the category. She's 30, she's just turned 30. We don't know how long her experience. I mean, as we said, age is not always an indicator of experience in weightlifting. So in the 77 women's, we saw a couple who were in their 30s or just turned 30, but didn't have, in fact, an extensive record in weightlifting. There's a little bit of a nasty miss too. It may have just
nicked her on the shoulder blades on the way through.
Yeah, or just twinged her elbow or whatever. So she's going to have to battle a couple of demons as she goes out onto the platform for this third attempt.
Well, there's 2 New Caledonians in the mix here tonight. Adele here and Demi Darbin. Prospected the bomb here if she doesn't. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's much more aggressive. Yeah. She was confronting the possibility of being rubbed out, but gets it back on track with that 68. That's good news.
I think he just came out and said, all right,
yeah,
no mucking around here,
no,
just get it up any old way. I can pass next this.
I'm not going to be intimidated by this any longer. Okay, this is interesting, seeing Henry Elder look after the Marshall Island lifter here. Kentucky. Won a bronze medal in the women's 76 category in Honiara a couple of years ago. So she's had some international competition. That looked a little bit more accomplished. And did pretty good at the Micronesian Games a couple of years ago when they held up in Majuro as well.
I think she realizes there that she almost lost that. A little bit of a smile, but I think it was more an embarrassed smile.
As I said, Bernadette here goes all the way back to the Pacific Games held in Apia back in 2019 when she picked up a silver and bronze in the snatch, and she's going to want to do a little bit better than that tonight if she's going to get amongst the bronze medals. So here's Carlo again, going to finish off with a 70.
So far she's looked good, so this is on the cards for her. Not quite. She seems just a little bit hesitant there on the top of the pool, because she certainly looked capable in previous attempts. She was determined to get that one. Good approach. Finished it off. Quarter high.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Actually, we'd lovely to have a bit of a chat to her and get her view on the development of the sport in the years that she's been around as well. It would make an interesting series, wouldn't it?
It would, and she's a first eyewitness to it.
So here she is, the martial lifter. Now we saw her at the mini games in Palau as well, where she posted an 80 for a bronze medal finish up in Palau behind Thika Matana and Pritchard Lolo, who's both of them, of course, lifting here. So she's got a lot more in if she wants it. So now she's relaxing a little bit. Maybe she can get into her stride.
Yeah, she was, well, her first one was okay. It's just that she lost concentration for that split second and had to make some quick adjustments. Otherwise, she would have lost the bar. This one here, she was right on top of it.
Yeah, so at those Palau mini games, from the Marshall Islands, an 80, a 105 and a 185 for a bronze medal.
76 kilograms on the bar, and if she's going to take this attempt, then it's 2 successive attempts, and that's why there was 2 minutes on the clock. She still has 1 minute, but she's ready to go. As a coach, if the lifter is ready to go, particularly in the snatch, I just let them go. You hold them back in the clean and jerk because they physically need that rest. But in their snatch, they're fit, they're still at the start of the competition, the adrenaline is running. If they're ready, let them go.
Yep. Like I say, last year when we saw in competition, last time it was a nice big 80 that she lifted. This is 76 for her. Oh yeah, feeling pretty good about things. That's good.
Well done. She knew she had it right in that bottom position. She flashes a big smile. There it is. She knows, I've got this.
Now we see Demi Dabin from New Caledonia, and we've seen her around the Pacific once or twice as well. Never really bothered the podium too much, but again, just part of this rebuild of New Caledonia weightlifting. And she could be pivotal in bringing on a new, younger generation of lifters. First attack, just looking around, probably pretty incredulous. I mean, she's done some lifting around the Pacific for sure, but she was just taking a good eyeful of that stadium out there.
Yeah. Well, each lifter's approach is different. Some like to completely ignore what's going on around them. They're in the zone. Others like to have a bit of a look around, become familiarized, relax themselves. So it's very individual how you approach the bar in competition. As long as once you touch that bar, your focus and concentration is totally on what you're going to do.
So I was saying it was good to see New Caledonia back on the podium earlier on today. And just talking to the New Caledonians, they sort of rued the loss of Paul Coffer after he and COVID forced him back to Australia, and the Oceania Institute shut its doors up there in New Caledonia. Okay, Dabin then, Demi Dabin, 81. And it just slowly unwound.
Wow. That's a shame because she caught it high. I mean, she seemed to be doing exactly the right thing. Nice long pull. She actually caught the bar high. She didn't just drop under the bar. Look how high she catches it. But it's just that fraction behind her, and she just can't control the backward movement of the bar.
So when you say, and for those just sort of joining the weightlifting fraternity and maybe getting turned on to the sport a little bit here, Rob, when you say caught the bar high, I mean, theoretically what's happened is the weights come off the platform in two big pulls. The first off the ground, the second through the thigh and the midriff area, as we've explained, to maximum velocity. While that's happening, the lifter is attempting to get underneath that bar as fast as possible.
Correct.
You're saying that the lifter doesn't wait until the bar hits the hands in that receive position. If they can, they bring it down into the hands, or is it like a fulcrum?
No, what it is, it's just sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's just a natural occurrence. if your pull is strong enough and fast enough and high enough, then you're already in a position to catch that bar without having to go too far into your squat position.
And so, with bearing that in mind, compare some of these lifters now in this category with what Eileen Thickamatana will do in the next 20 minutes or so.
Look, she's well known for catching the bar very high and often just power snatching and power cleaning.
Demi controls it, and the crowd applaud her endeavours out there.
But of course, there's a difference between catching the bar high and just stopping at that position, or riding it down, which is the preferred way for most coaches. That gives you more time and more room to get yourself in a proper position under the bar. So in fact, if you stop or if you look at it in slow motion or took a photo, it looks as if you're power snatching it, but what in fact you're doing is you pulled it high enough and then you ride it down into your bottom position, so it's much more comfortable on your upper body, and you're able to reach that position in a more controlled manner.
Talia Suo then from New Zealand, after her crack at 86. New Zealand has got 3 lifters in this category tonight. Nice control. Good opener for her, that's nice.
She did really well then. Good strength in her upper body and shoulders there to be able to control that bar. You could see it just tipping to one side, and she was just determined enough to hang on to it, tense in the right place. Look at her there. Yeah, she's tensing hard and was able to get up.
And a Samoan surname as well, so perhaps some of the family around to cheer her home, so nice outcome for her.
So as you were saying before, it's a concept that's not easily understood or pictured by people who are actually even people who are in the sport. It takes them a while to tap into that thinking, what their coach is trying to tell them to do, to grab the concept of riding the bar down in that position.
But the element really is all about speed.
It's all about speed and getting enough height on the bar so you've got the time
to get underneath
and room to get underneath it.
There you go.
Eventually it reaches reaches a certain weight where you're unable to pull it that high, so then your speed and flexibility come into play. You've pulled it as high as you can and as fast as you can. Now you've got to get under it really quick and lock it out. And that's where training for speed as well counts. You can't be fast in competition if you're not fast in training.
Talitawa then comes out with 90 kilos. Miriama.
Now this is an interesting lifter here. What were you saying before about this this weight category not being strong in a deep fashion, and may attract lifters from other categories who see their chance here to qualify for the games rather than in another category, and this would be one of those lifters. She weighed just less than a kilo over the 77 kilo category.
There you go. And she's got some experience as well, so she knows what she's doing. Believe me, she got a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Championships in India last year. Junior, and a very good lifter. She's been around there or thereabouts, and she's been pursuing some of the big names for some time. She finished 5th overall at the Commonwealth Championships in India, so she knows what she's doing.
That's right. And her total of 203 in India is what's keeping her in the top 8 rankings now, but she'll want to do a lot more than that, because as we said, some lifters will come out of the woodwork for sure in the remaining qualifying events to try and get into the top 8 in this category.
Well, she certainly started in the right vein. So here's Talia Suo then with her 90. quite controlling it this time.
And of course, some lifters may choose to move into this category, not just based on the rankings, but also based on the fact that they have someone else in their country who's already qualified and is a little bit stronger in the previous weight category. And you can only represent one athlete per nation at the Commonwealth Games in each weight category. So that slot is taken. They've got to search elsewhere for a slot to get to the Games.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miriama then, Talatawa will be wanting to try and make sure that Fiji is against her name. So we'll keep an eye on that. She, at the Commonwealth Championships, got that 91 that Rob was talking about. The clean and jerk was a 112, and the total was a 203 for the Fiji lifter. Here's Team Fiji getting around Talia Sua here. It's a warmish night, and the fans, let me tell you, are probably a very, very good idea. So she got the 86, she put the 90 down, she's going to come back and have a crack at another 90. There's 3 New Zealanders in this particular division as well. There's our first look of at the Vanuatu, the Vanuatu lifter. Richard Lolo, who we've seen, of course, at the mini games in Palau, where she finished up with that silver medal. We'll speak more of her in a moment. Let's just see if we can get Talia home with this 90 first for the Kiwis.
This will take a bit of effort in going because she struggled a little bit with her first on 86. This is 4 kilos more. She needs to really get some height on it and some speed. Oh.
Maybe pushed her a little bit too hard this time. It's a very delicate balance, isn't it? Just
it is.
The equation of landing it, that vector at the top of that arc, it is just...
You're on the razor's edge in snatching.
And as we've said, and again, if you're new to the sport, this snatch is technically more demanding of the lifter than the clean and jerk that we're going to see in the second stanza.
Not only that, as an athletic movement, it has been timed as the fastest moving athletes at an Olympic Games are the Olympic weightlifters in the snatch. Feet per second, they're faster than the sprinters, the gymnasts, any other sport.
Well, here she is, Aja Pritchard Lola. Saw her at the mini games in Palau with a 90, so here she's coming back with a 93. She too would be wanting to think about Vanuatu and responsibilities in Glasgow, I am sure. Let's see how she goes and gets her campaign underway. Likes it. She's a confidence lifter. Her mum's in a corner again. This has been a tradition. The two of them worked very well together. There's a mum going out, so that was the tester.
Very nice first attempt. No problems there.
Finished 11th at the Olympic Games in Paris with an 89, 108 and 197.
And so currently in the rankings in the top 8 with a 204 total.
So we'll keep an eye on that, see whether she can improve on that tonight, Rob.
I think she'll need to improve because already you have a 222 from the big group.
Yep. Wow. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on that. Of course, that was the young Samoan, wasn't it?
Yes. Her 204 is ranking her 6th at the moment, but that will change. So she's virtually 7th now.
Siafui coming through with that lift. Okay, here's Miriama then. Now, she's going to want to improve on her 203 that she got at the Commonwealth Championships. Remembering, she got that 91 in India late last year. So here she is on 95. So she's doing everything she can to try and get a name down on that flight list for Glasgow. All right.
Nice.
And as we were saying before, a lot of the school kids have adopted some of the countries, and Fiji is one of the popular mixers here. So Faleata is away with a nice second lift of 95. And she's pretty happy with that. It's just a little bit of a smile.
Yep,
So-
but you're right, she does need to improve on her 203 because at the moment she is precariously balanced in the 8th spot, and there are still events to come, so she needs to bump it up as much as she can here.
Well, she's doing everything she can. As I said, a bronze medal with a 91 in India, in the juniors that was.
Yep.
Okay. And,
She hasn't put her foot wrong, so
Richard Lolo then has been a bit of an inspiration to weightlifters around the Melanesia area. As I said, she and her mum have been a very, very handy unit. Saw them in Honiara. She went to Paris. In fact, celebrated her 22nd birthday on the 10th of August in 2024 when she was in Paris. Finished 8th in Birmingham. Want to do better if she gets through to Glasgow. Wow. And again, just acknowledges the crowd with a nice little nod of the head. And she's dressed for it.
yep, she's riding a wave of confidence at the moment.
She absolutely is. And I've seen her before, and she is very much a confidence lifter. And when she's up, she's gone. She's out of there. She's very handy. So that's a nice 97 for her. In fact, I reckon we're getting into big PB territory for her, actually.
Yep.
Medea Jones as well. Now, here's a lifter that was threatening a couple of years ago, former gymnast. Now, watch her preparation as she comes out onto the platform. A former gymnast, she has this routine. So here she is, and she's got this very dismissive look, and she's going to boot the bar now. There's the side eye. Watch the approach.
She can't boot the bar anymore, you know, because that's a new rule has come in. She will be disqualified.
Well, she doesn't boot the bar anymore,
Yep.
but still.
Yeah, that little shove is okay, but if you put your foot on the bar, it's a no lift.
Wow. Medea Jones with a 98. Nice. Wow. She might be back. Medea Jones was threatening, and there's the gymnastic foray and the wave to the crowd. She's quite spectacular. She really is. But she was threatening big things about 18 months ago. I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like she's back because she sort of dropped off the New Zealand rankings a little bit. This very theatric and dramatic entrance and exit off the platform. The smacking cloud of the chalk dust.
Why not? The sport needs characters. You
And
know, there are
she-
too many lifters who look like they're going about their work as a bricklayer or something on the platform. And good on them if they're lifting the big weights. As I said, the scoreboard doesn't tell whether you look stylish or whatever. The scoreboard just knows how much you lifted. But if we want to promote the sport and engage the audience, you know, you need those characters. It's an individual sport, and you need individual characters.
Well, she reckons that she's a snatch specialist, so let's see whether that's going to get examined over her next two lifts. Okay, here comes the Fiji champ. Faleata, Miriama, out she comes. They're really pushing each other at the moment, these girls. They really are. Faleata in India late last year with a 91. Here we are at 99. Third attempt. This will be a good sequence if she can get this.
Oh,
Knee down. No lift.
so close.
But that's a good sequence of lifts for her, though. That 95 is a big 4K improve on the Commonwealth Championships. Gives her some hope going into the clean and jerk.
And again, not forgetting that she is the lightest competitor in this category at just 77.65 kilograms.
And almost Vogue-like now. Arja Pritchard Lolo, and she also, I reckon, is getting very close. I've never seen her do 100 before, and I don't see it in the record books either that I've got. The best snatch I had her doing up until now was 90.
Wow.
She did that at the mini games in Palau.
Well, there's never been a better time to snatch 100 than now. Oh. That bar seemed to be traveling in the right direction at the right speed. She just preempted it just by a split second. I think she pulled the trigger just that little bit too early. Look, the bar is moving, it's traveling, and she just seemed to drop under it. You've got to pull yourself under the bar, get as much height as possible, and continue to pull as you get under the bar.
Well, acknowledging to the crowd as well with the palms out. She knew what went wrong. She won't be repeating that mistake in the clean and jerk. She can't afford to. Okay, Medea Jones, then out she comes. As I said, the snatch specialist she described herself as, looking to build a clean and jerk. Finished 6th at the Commonwealth Championships, and that surprised me somewhat because I thought she was on a more upward trend than that. That was with a 90. Here's a 101.
Yeah. Well, she only clean and jerked 105 at those championships.
She did.
Oh, she's in the spot. Wow.
Wow.
Oh. There's no gymnastics.
That is the best I've seen her lift in a long time. That's impressive.
Very, very nice. Impressive, yes. That's the word.
That is impressive.
She is getting the most out of herself.
Absolutely. She's redlining it, but doing it in style. Wow. She'd have to be wrapped with that. All these girls are pushing themselves where they've never been before in a major competition like this.
Look, it could be a chance in a lifetime. This may be your only opportunity to get to the Commonwealth Games.
So it looks like the crew were just having a discussion. Medea, where do you want to go? We think you're good for. Simon Kent comes over. He has a little bit of a look as well. So the Kiwi's just circling, wondering where they're going to take her. She's gone a 103. You reckon she's got a 105 in her, Rob?
She may need a 105 because her problem in the hurdle for her in getting to Glasgow is the other New Zealander who's listed for 235 total. So she needs to get some big weights up there and then just see what happens after that.
Well, we'll have to question her later about where she's been for the last 8 months or so, but this is a bit of a revelation. Medea Jones. There's that side eye, that sort of disdainful look at the bar, and again. And then this approach. And in the old days, she used to give this bar a real boot. But Lord prohibit that now. So here's this sort of disdainful roll of the bar. 103. And the flourish as she jumps off the platform. Wow. I've never seen her lift this well. This is
a great exhibition of snatching.
It's pretty stunning.
Very, very nicely done. We said it after her second attempt that she's getting the most out of herself. She's pulling it as high as she possibly can. She's getting into a low bottom position. She's balanced. A great exhibition of snatching.
Well, here's another very good weightlifter coming out to play now.
Now this is the barrier for Medea Jones.
Yeah,
this is a hurdle that she hasn't got over.
Faleata is a really handy lifter. Whoa. Well,
she couldn't duplicate what Medea was doing. She had it, she sat, but she wasn't in as comfortable position as Medea was in.
No.
And there was no way she could push out of that position with any sort of power.
Went through to the 2025 Worlds in Norway, finished 9th with a 109, 131, 240 total. And all three of those lifts set New Zealand senior and junior records. So she's in some form. The tier, now the Galevo.
And that's the 240 that's got a place third on the Commonwealth Games ranking list.
So here's the stumbling block for Medea Jones then.
Yep.
And this girl's got to defend what she's doing to get to Glasgow. So we've got a bit of a fight on our hands. And we're yet to see the Australian, Eileen Thickamatana.
She's nominated 110 as her starting attempt.
Wow.
And normally she doesn't, well, Paul is calling the weights, so they don't muck around with. I would bet if that's what they've nominated to start on, then that's what they will start on.
Another Galevo, 105, second attempt. Jones has done a 103 for New Zealand. Thank you very much. Good on you, Medea, but hey, guess what? This is me you're coming for. And calm as you like, walks off. So Simon Kent walks down the champions tunnel, the tunnel of champions, to change the next weight load. The tier here. Another Galevo looking good at 106.
It was a good lift. I can't say that it was entirely comfortable. So this next one here, depending on which weight was called, will be very interesting. Personally, I wouldn't go for more than 108. That would be, I think, the...
But the Kiwis have done this to their lifters, though, for the last couple of days. They've taken them to the brink. And wow, Eileen Thickamatana is listed as next lifter, 107.
Well, there we go.
That's interesting. She was the start of the 110. Unusual. Usually, as Rob was saying, when they nominate, they stick. 107, Eileen Thickamatana enters the mix. The New Zealanders are in touch. Maybe that's why she just wants to get this banged out of the place. Looked a little rushed to me.
Sometimes starting light doesn't always pay off because the lifter is expecting, well, this is light for me, I'm just going to grab it, get it out of the way. I don't want to waste my time on this weight. And just that lack of concentration. You know, the snatch is never yours. You never ever have the snatch in your pocket. You've got to pay respect to the lift.
Paul Coffer there, just reminding her, let's get the basics right. We'll put 107 out. I mean, this woman, fourth at the Paris Olympic Games, IWF World Championship bronze medal in Norway, gold at the Commonwealth Weightlifting Championships. She's an absolute low-down misère here, but 107 for a second time, and with a Kiwi with a lift to come. Thank you, Eileen back. It was a momentary lapse.
And that's what she wanted to do on her first.
So I think the attitude of the Australian coaches is, well, sometimes you get that. Wow. So easy, really. So easy. The noise, the atmosphere, it is building.
I mean, there's no denying that she's a very strong woman, both mentally and physically. But as I said, the snatch doesn't always depend on strength.
Well, down the corridor of champions comes this lifter. Now they get level. Letier's gone for 111. Simon Kent has gone the max.
Yeah.
They're going to put pressure on the Australian. They're going to try and flush her out, and they're going for the gold in the snatch. This is audacious by the New Zealanders. Audacious.
You've got to put the lift on the board.
Nobody does this to Tuanaimato. Boy, 111. .105 the second. Putting on 6. Having a crack at the Aussie for gold. Wow. We have a fight on our hands. We have a serious battle underway here.
Maybe I should give up this coaching caper. I definitely would not have picked 111, but then again, I don't know the lifter personally, and that's where good coaching comes in. You've got to know your lifter, how they're going to respond, what have they done in training.
Well, you've done your 111, says Tuanaimato. I'm going to come out with my third and do 112. Boy, the Aussies. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on. You're kidding me.
Well, that problem was easily handled.
Wow. Well, they had the temerity to challenge the mighty Eileen Tuanaimato. The temerity to challenge Paul Coffer, her coach. You're going to play that game. I got 112 for you. Take that back to Wellington. What a lift.
That was a little bit of excitement, wasn't it?
That was it. Well, you're the master of understatement. What a lift. What a sequence of lifts. Well, there's the scoreboard. We're going nowhere. We haven't got any records. But boy, have we got drama all the way up and down those 11 lifters.
Absolutely.
We've got the renaissance of Mia Jones. We've got Lola Pritchard going hard out for Vanuatu. Kalatawa doing great things as well. And then this battle at the top of that ladder between the New Zealander and the Australian. We're going to take a break here. I tell you what, we're having the time of our lives at the IBFC World Cup, Universal Cup here. Should be a World Cup. It is absolutely smoking hot, the competition. And really, we're in store for a wonderful evening because we've got the clean and jerks not too far away. Let's remind you that our wonderful sponsors here are IBFC for finance. If you want some corporate help, speak to them. Vodafone, NBS for your Samoan banking needs. Samoa Tourism Authority to get you this beautiful part of the world. Vaima Brewers, thank you very much indeed. And Samoa National Olympic Committee, you must be mighty proud of what you put on here. There's a scoreboard at the end of the snatch of the women's 86. Robert Cabas and I will be back after the break. Tell you what, the sensational weightlifting, the standard, the competition, the drama continues. Rob Cabas, an Olympian from Los Angeles, a three-time Commonwealth gold medalist. Mr. Cabas, have you ever seen anything like that last lift from the wonderful Eileen Tuanaimato?
Well, I haven't seen or heard anything like this before, but so hopefully people can hear what we are saying. Look, she's obviously a wonderful athlete, but it's not often that someone in this region or in the Commonwealth would take it up to her like that, and she responded as you would expect that she would respond. She was very businesslike. She came out and said, okay, this is my response to the challenge. Now I'll see you in the clean and jerks.
Absolutely unbelievable. The New Zealander, if you're just joining us, Nada Gilevu had taken it up to the Australian champ. Remember, the Australian is world standard. She's ranked in the top 3 in the world. And she looked a little bit hesitant early on, Eileen Thikamatana. She put down the first snatch. And I think the New Zealanders thought, okay, we're going to come for you. And come for her they did. With this wonderful Latia then knocking over a 105. And then she took this monstrous jump to 112 and left it there. And Eileen had to come back on the 111, and she did in sensational form.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's easier to say, oh, we're going to put pressure on someone, but you've actually got to lift the weights to apply that pressure. And the third attempt snatched by Nakagilevu was sensational. She her first on 105, she couldn't get up with it. She had it over her head, and she just could not get up with it. Her second attempt looked okay, but it didn't look like a walk in the park. And I think I mentioned at the time that if I was the coach, which I'm not, I probably would have looked at 108. But they went to 111 because they know their athletes better than I do.
Well, here's Carlo then, the clean and jerk now. And for those of you that might be being introduced to weightlifting, this is the 2-move lift where the lifter can secure the bar on top of the shoulders or across the chest before jerking it overhead. Rules apply, and the referees and judges, of course, are watching very closely everything that transpires. But because of this extra leverage and assistance that you can put into the clean and jerk, means that you're probably going to be able to lift a little bit more than you can with a straight snatch, where you're trying to get the weight directly over the head in one move.
Absolutely. It's like two movements in one. You get the weight to your chest, then you can settle down, use all the power in your legs, and that's what the jerk is. It's not really a test of your upper body strength. Your arms and upper body are not really doing anything. The legs drive it as high as you can, and then you drop underneath it and lock it out. So you keep the arms out of the equation. If you were to tense your grip and arms, you're slowing the bar down, and often you would either press out or not get the jerk at all.
Carlo then waiting to get the all clear to go out and do this again. And we're just trying to work out whether we can be heard over this extraordinary atmospheric crowd here. Carlo as well, just waiting for the go-ahead to get out and get into her second at 80. And if you thought today was big, wait until tomorrow when the super heavies start strutting their stuff. Friday here in Apia. Carlo then comes up for her second. This is 80. Three white lights, good for her. Wow, it's such an atmospheric venue. It is just unbelievable. The amount of noise has just been something to behold.
You would think there's 50,000 people in here.
Yeah. And who said weightlifting is boring? Well, Nai Ego here, from Papua New Guinea, one of their veteran lifters. Was here back in 2019. At the Pacific Games in Honiara, actually, where we last saw her, 2 bronze medals and 1 silver.
Power clean, easy. And a good job. So she's just making sure of a total, 85 kilos, no problems there.
So here's Kalu then. Just some big crowd movements in and around us here at the moment. We're just sort of adjusting to the comings and goings. And
so another 5 kilo jump.
Some of our enthusiastic spectators just vacating the bleachers.
And letting off just last minute screams before they go.
Absolutely. Letting us know that they're on the way out. They're leaving the building. Kalu then, 85, third attempt. The 18-year-old from Sri Lanka finishes off her tournament, alas, without the 85. But boy, oh boy, I mean, again, what an experience for these lifters, these overseas lifters coming down here and getting in and amongst it.
And 4 out of 6 attempts. It's a solid performance, so nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure. She almost had it there, just pressing out. It probably would have been doubtful that she would have received the referee's approval if she had completed, but she was definitely trying to do that. As we always say, if you can complete the lift, do it. Let the referees then make a decision.
Marine here, Marshall Islands, being assisted by Henry Elder, the Fiji coach. Bit of an association between the Marshalls and Fiji, goes back a couple of years. And seems that it must still be in operation to a degree. Well, as I said, Pacific Games, bronze medalist back in Honiara. Micro Games in Majuro, 1 gold and 2 silver medals. So she's got some form. And she's got 90 kilos over her head.
So she's happy she's got that under her belt. You never really want to repeat in the clean and jerks, just too much hard work. Your first attempt is there for you to get it done.
Well, this young lady will want to get her clean and jerks away a little bit more steadily than she did the snatches.
Yes, she just got through with the snatches.
Yes.
When I say just got through, she missed the first 2. Her third attempt was never in doubt, though, because she had enough of this rubbish. No, I'm just going to power snatch it. I can do this.
Absolutely, and if she'd done that first up, she would have been in a much different position.
Yes.
Because she's obviously got the skill and the talent. Adele Simon from New Caledonia. And of course, so there we go, 92 kilos for her. So how much more difficult is the snatch than a clean and jerk? I mean, is it a really difficult lift to do, snatch, compared to clean and jerk?
Oh, absolutely. As I said before, it doesn't matter how long you've been lifting. You may have a 15-year career, but you are constantly working at perfecting your snatch technique. You never own the snatch. It's never like, oh, now I know how to snatch. It's in my pocket. That's never the situation. And often little things will creep into your technique, and then before you know it, they've become a little bit exaggerated, and they have an impact on how you're lifting. Sometimes an injury will do that.
You know what? It would be kind of nice, Rob, if Noire Bernadette here could get herself a medal to close off a chapter of appearances in this part of the world. As I said, she was at the 2019 Apia Games, but had a few problems just getting this 92 up, just a little bit slow under the bar. But it'd be kind of sort of fitting, wouldn't it, if she was at 219 and then could walk away with some sort of a medal here to reward her travel down to this wonderful IBFC Universal Cup competition.
It would be. Unfortunately, it's often out of our hands how our careers come to an end. Not too many lifters get that opportunity to make a nice package out of their careers.
No, that's disappointing for her. So that's the end of that. So she's at least got a total. She got the 85, but 2 times 92 just not going to work for her today.
No, the jerks weren't really close. I don't know what the problem is, because 85 was actually quite snappy, but it's just not enough drive to get the bar into the position that she needs to secure it.
Okay, here's the other New Caledonian, Demi Darbin. Gee, a lot of arm in that. Get you to analyse that first pull, if you would, Rob, in a moment.
Well, she started 5 kilos less than her nominated 100. So maybe things didn't quite go to plan in warm-up, and they decided to play safe. Take 5 kilos off that 100.
Well, let's
see if we get a replay of that lift.
Yeah, Marianne looks like she's out here early. We might not see it, but there just seemed to be a lot of arm work in it. It could be a bit ominous for her. But anyway, the Marshallese is out with 95.
Starting with a wide grip. Often the lifters will have their normal grip in the clean and then just widen it out once it's on their chest for the jerk, but she actually starts off with that wide grip. And it is a wide grip. So what you've got to look out for, if you're starting your clean with a wide grip, makes it harder to turn your elbows around and get it high up on your chest. It doesn't help you at all in the clean. Having said that, there are other factors as to why you would widen your grip to get the bar going. She's got big legs, and the way she sets herself, it may not allow her a narrower grip. I know my grip widened throughout my career as I got a little bit bigger and lost a little bit more flexibility, and I had to stretch out my grip because of.
Was that conscious? Were you doing that consciously, like making a physical determination that you would, or was it just something that crept into your lifting technique?
I think it's just something that crept into it.
Right. Adele Simon here, looking much better in the clean and jerk than she did in the snatch earlier. I think she's beginning to enjoy this now.
Often it's drawn to your attention by someone else, one of the other lifters at training, and they may say, oh, have you widened your grip? And you start to think about it. Well, no, I think I've just widened my foot stance because I can't get into the correct position anymore in that narrow foot stance. And you widen your foot stance, your legs and your knees are pushing hard against your arms, so then you've got to widen the grip. sometimes you make those changes, as you said, instinctively. Sometimes it's something, not all lifters have that ability to feel where the bar is and what their body is doing and so on. So sometimes it's something that'll be dictated by their coach.
So
they'll say, you look a bit cramped, why don't you do this, why don't you do that?
Is instinct going to win over science, or is the science and the mechanics going to beat the instinct?
Well, they always say that coaching is a combination of art and science, and each coach leans one way or the other while trying to deal with both. If I had to say about my coaching style, it lends itself more to the art of coaching, and I rely a little bit more on personal relationship and contact with the lifters and getting the best out of them, while adhering to a science-based program. You know what percentages have to be used when and where, and how many repetitions to include.
Well, here she is then, Marianne. And I tell you what, she's just a little underdone from when we last saw her at the micro games or the mini games up in Palau. Up there she posted an 80 in the snatch, and she finished off with a 105 for a 185 and a bronze medal. I suppose a little bit closer to home up there in Palau. She's a long way from home down here in the Marshall Islands. But just not quite as good as she was about 6 or 7 months ago. Nevertheless, a nice clean lift there, and 3 out of 3, and 3 out of 3 snatches as well. So she's pretty happy.
She's happy. I think I get the sense that something has disrupted her training. She's entered this competition uncertain of what she will be able to do. The coaches advising her have been conservative with her, and she's happy that to get what I'm guessing are probably lifts that she hasn't achieved in training since then. So she's happy with her performance. 6 out of 6, the most that she could get out of it. As I said, my guess is her training has been interrupted at some stage.
Well, she's currently ranked 5th in the Pacific. Here's Adele Simon then.
Oh.
Well, that was the big attempt at the 100, but I reckon she was going places she's never been before in a competition as well, so I reckon she'd have to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and she also seemed more at home in the clean and jerk rather than
absolutely
than the snatch. But we also saw that she was strong enough to snatch more, so...
she needs a good coach. I reckon you better get up to New Caledonia.
Well, I think this has been a good experience for her. She's having a look around. She sees what other lifters are doing. She gets a sense of where she's sitting, what she needs to work on.
Demi Davin then comes out, the other New Caledonian. Her 101. So these two probably battling over the triple figure numbers. Davin can't do it.
I mean, she was obviously much better in the snatch, but the clean and jerk, Adele certainly had the upper hand as far as strength goes.
Be interesting to see where these two, the two New Caledonians, end up. It was Davin here who had the better results in the snatch. She got the 81 compared to Adele Simon's 68. But she's got to come out and do better than a 95, which is what Adele ended up with. We'll wait and see.
Good service there, isn't it? Having your teammate cooling you down, waving the fan there.
Could say something about our fan waivers, but it would be a bit forlorn, I think, Rod. Ain't no fan waivers for us. I must say I'm looking forward to tomorrow's showdown as well. I think competition tomorrow night, and if you're not doing anything, and if you care to join us here on TV1 Samoa,
I mean, to be honest, every day has had highlights. We haven't been disappointed on any day. The first day, the young Indians were just sensational. Second day, of course, we had junior world, youth world records by Noti from Nauru. And then this morning, we had more youth world records by stowers of Samoa.
And then tomorrow, Friday, we've got the men's 94 plus at 10 a.m. We've got the 110 guys featuring, we believe, a world champion. Yet to be confirmed. I want to see the start list before we spruik that one.
Yes.
The 86 plus women come out to play. And then it's the big boys, the gigantors of weightlifting in the Pacific. And Maneli Mao, Sonelli Mao, and David Litty will rejoin their battle, which goes back a few years. Will Litty be able to bring it to the great Samoan here on his home soil? Find out tomorrow here at the continuing coverage of the IBFC Universal Cup. Right now, Demi Davin's got 101 on the bar. She wants to finish clear of her good buddy, Adele Simon.
Oh, well done. Wow, good on her. She dug deep for that one.
And she did, and she has, and she got it, and she's chuffed. So Talia Sua, look at that. That's an absolute fighting lift. Great work. And she ends up with a 182 total then at the end of all that. So Talia Sua then had a bit of a time with that 90 kilos. Got the 86 away first up in the snatch. Let's see whether she can put together a couple of clean and jerks here to see out her tournament. Wow, that's a bit of a fight. Look at the recovery here. That's good presence of mind.
She seemed to be slipping and sliding a little bit in that jerk. I wonder if there's a build-up of chalk on the platform, and maybe we should look at having it swept just to clear that out of the way.
Hello? Is there something? No, we're all good. Just having a look at the weighing platform.
There is a stop. And I see the marshal heading over to the jury table.
Yeah.
And there's a replay on the screen there, so let's have a look.
So we're just...
so
this is what
it's all good up to here. Oh, maybe her right arm a little bit. If we have a look at her right arm, it just doesn't go straight into that lock position. Yes, it's locked, then unlocks. Watch her right arm. It locks out, then it unlocks. No, they've seen enough.
That's what they were looking
no
at.
lift.
No lift, unfortunately, for her. So Talia Sua.
So now the coaches and her have to make a decision. Do we take the same weight again? Do we go up a kilo or two?
So So here's Medea Jones as well. We saw some extraordinary lifting from her in the opening stanza.
Oh, her snatching was just fantastic.
Just giving us a bit of a wave. And I reckon there's a little bit of a battle going on between she and Aja Pritchard Lola here. And it was Medea Jones who finished in front of the Vanuatu lifter. There's Aja's mum who looks after her. So we're still waiting, and I'm not quite sure what we are waiting for.
Well, the clock has to be reset.
Okay. Okay, so we're back, and here we are.
And I think they made a decision that they're not going to take 109 again. So now Pritchard Lolo is the one going onto the platform.
So getting set then for 110, and she's going to rejoin this battle with the New Zealander, Medea Jones. The two of them were sort of neck and neck throughout that first stanza, the snatch. Looks all right. I wonder whether they might take a quick look at it, however.
I was thinking that if they're going to be consistent, then they should be having another look at this one.
Yeah, and again, you see, they're getting the benefit of this slow-mo replay, and that could be the undoing of...
Yep. Look, I think we're going to end up with that being looked at again. If they're going to be consistent.
No, they're not, because Talia Sue is going to come out and do a 110.
So I think the frustration with coaches and athletes is not so much when the jury intervenes and overturns a lift. It's the fact that it's not consistent.
Yep. And I would say, Rob, that to keep the jury out of it, just lift well so that there's no possible intervention.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they're not robots, so something is going to happen somewhere along the line.
Okay, so we've cleared up that little foray and the intervention of the jury. Medea Jones is just getting into her calm space, and with very sort of dramatic flourish she'll arrive on the platform. The former gymnast will make her entrance. $113 for Medea Jones. Well, again, this is very, very big for her, because in India last year she was doing 105s.
Well, we have to remember that she's just snatched 103, so this is just 10 kilos more than she snatched, so you would think that she's capable of this.
Currently ranked number 3 in Oceania with a 215 total. And that puts her ahead of Pritchard Lolo as well, who's in 5th place. So there's the roll. It was once the boot.
Now that's the problem when you have such a low squat position. The advantage is it allows you to clean much more than others because you don't have to pull the bar as high as a lot of the other lifters. You're flexible enough, you're fast enough to get under more weight. But then it's more difficult for you to actually stand up with it so you can have a crack at the jerk. So when you have a position that's so low, you got to work extra hard on your squats to compensate for that.
Deep in concentration. It was interesting, we got a little glimpse in the warm-up room before as well, Rob. Not sure whether you saw him, but Paul Coffer, there he goes there, just through his screen, just stalking that table, and I just wonder what ideas are going through his head as he sets Eileen Thikamatana up against this precocious New Zealander.
He may have snuck a look at their sheet to see if any changes have been made.
Another Galebu taking it up to the Australian in the snatch, big time, and bringing out an audacious 112 from the Australian to see her off. But boy, the world champ for a moment. Okay, Medea Jones then with 113. She did such a beautiful sequence of snatch lifts.
Yeah. With the lighter weights of the snatch, you can afford to sit at the bottom, gather your thoughts and balance and so on, and then get up. You can't afford to do that in the clean and jerk with the heavier weight.
There's the side eye again, and now addresses the bar. There's the tips it forward. She's not happy.
So close to getting up. She did the right thing. She pulled it as high as possible. She caught the bounce and she tried to use the momentum of that bounce to get her through that sticking point, but she was stuck, and that's why it's called the sticking point.
And
often lifters will look back at their lifts and say, God, I didn't realize that I was that close to getting up with it. But while you're under the bar, you just know that's it. I can't get any further up.
Jalala Pritchard there, who's had that big tussle with her in the snatch, will be, I think, quietly happy about all that. Because these two were going at it in the snatch, and the Vanuatu lifter's got the break on her here with the 110. And she's waiting for Medea Jones to finish off her 113 before she comes back out at 115.
Of course, there's no question of going up in weight because you're just unable to get out of the squat and even attempt the jerk. So
for the newbies to weightlifting, as Medea here now looks into the precipice of a possible bomb in clean and jerk, medals will be awarded for snatch, and would she qualify?
She will get a medal for the snatch. She will get a bronze for the snatch.
But no total, no clean and jerk.
Correct. She did everything right on her second attempt, apart from getting up with the weight. She gave it everything possible. It was a nice long pull. She bounced out of the bottom position. She nearly got up. So now she's just got to, it's just down to guts and determination. No.
Not tonight.
Unfortunately, with that one, she was also just a little back on her heels with it. Not in as good a position. Not in as good a position as she was with her second, and really didn't have a chance.
Well, she leaves stage left in a flourish, as she always does, Medea Jones. I tell you what, there's been a remarkable improvement in this girl, though. She mightn't have been able to hold on to the clean and jerks tonight, but the snatches look good.
Well, she's got some stuff that she can go home and work on.
Well, down the corridor of champions, Talia Sua. Talatawa not too far away from her start as well. And Aja Pritchard Lola here with her mum going through the routine. Vogue comes to weightlifting. So let's see what this Vanuatu lifter can do. She's got some form. She's been around for a while.
She's looked very composed.
Hasn't she? Absolutely resplendent. Paris Olympics.
Nice technique. Her 100 snatch wasn't far off.
Nice. That was clean. Okay. Gives the crowd the nod again. 2 silvers and a bronze medal at the Pacific Games in Honiara. 8th in Birmingham in 2022 in the women's 87 division. And her best clean and jerk that I have is a 110. So she's come back storming as well. So
she's giving herself every chance of getting up on that plane to Glasgow.
Okay, Talia Sua has sat out the drama of Medea Jones. She comes out with her 115. 3 lifters yet to come. The New Zealander, the Australian, and the Fijian. Well, that's the end of Talia Sua's campaign here at the IBFC Universal Cup. Crashes into the platform with 117 unsecured.
110, yep. So 110 is what she will have to accept, which was her second attempt after her 109 was reversed and a final miss on 115. So she ends with a 196 total, 86 snatch and 110 clean and jerk.
All right, so here comes the Fiji crew. Telatawa Miriama, she also has been in some pretty good form. Currently ranked 7th. I reckon the numbers, that must have been done some time ago with the 203. Telatawa. .118. Fiji for the moment. Pull ahead in the clean and jerk. 118, that's 6 better than what we saw her do at the Commonwealth Championships in India last year.
And it puts her 1 kilo ahead of Pritchard Lolo.
So a battle here between the 2 Melanesian states. Aja Pritchard Lolo with a 212 total. Telatawa with that lift, with 2 to come, 213. So yes, Aja's mum has gone down to set matters straight. Telatawa then will come out, so it looks like
I think Telatawa will increase. That was the 1 kilo increment.
Yep, and it looks like Aja will go to a 120. There's Simon Kent.
I think he's moving up the weight for Nakagilov.
Yep, I reckon you're right. So the New Zealanders are beginning to try and get under the skin of the Australians. Faleata here trying to consolidate a lead over this girl from Vanuatu. Her mum has just gone and invited the loaders to put 120 on the bar in their third attempt. But Faleata is going to, looks like Faleata is going to go higher.
Now, Faleata will wait to see what Pritchard Lolo does with 120, because if she's successful, then she will need 123 to go past her again.
Her mum sets her on away. 212 at the moment. Faleata beating her by just the 1 kilo. This is 120. To put 217 into the total for the Vanuatu lifter. 4 ahead of the Fiji lifter if she gets it. Big lift.
Just could not get that right arm locked. The clean was comfortable.
So good.
I think she would be disappointed with that.
She is. She's taken off outside. She's not going to walk the corridor of champions for a moment. She just needs a moment to herself here. Just look at that right arm. Just comes off the lock. So the Fijians have got underneath her skin. 212 is her best. Faleata has done the job. The challenge from Vanuatu is ended. Faleata now is going to try and have a crack at the New Zealander and the Australian. And this is only her second lift as well. She is lifting out of this world, Rob.
She is. But so far, no one has been able to exceed the lifter from the B group with 222.
Wow, that's interesting. And that, of course, is the young Samoan.
And her knee bandage has come unraveled there.
So Faleata with 121. So she buries Aja Pritchard Lolo. That's nice.
So she's on 216 at the moment. My thinking was, or is, she'd already beaten Pritchard Lolo. And I don't know what her personal best is. Maybe 122 or 123 would have been a good call. And then have a crack at that 222 from the big group. But now I think she may be a bridge too far. Now she's going to have to jump 7 kilos if that's what's on her mind, or even if the coaches have noticed it.
Yeah, that could be the issue as well. It's just sitting there, and it's a very ominous set of numbers. Nadagilavu Latia 122 to get this campaign started. Wow. Nadagilavu 122. She was due to have started on a 120.
So that gives her a 233 total.
It does.
Remember, she still has a best total of 240. That's on the rankings.
Yep, she did 235 in India last year. And she has on the Oceania rankings at 240. Absolutely right, can confirm that as well. I think Tuanaimato dominating those rankings with a 270, the Australian yet to see her. Wow, this is tense stuff. Nadagilavu here, just stoking the fires of the Australian. She's sitting on 123 to come back out. Faleata now on the 125. Her third and final lift, which would give her a 220 total. And again, that's below the young Samoan. Upolu, who's got that 222 out the back.
Yeah.
Minute counting on the clock. Time is ticking. Decisions have to be made. Where does the New Zealander go and what can she do? Because Eileen Thikamatana, she's played a hand. She's going to go a 140. She's going to enter the clean and jerk at 140. And with that, she will smash them all. $126, Faleata has gone up. Well, interesting, Rob. I mean, you know, she's going to get 5 on this, added to the 216. She's 1 short of the Samoan.
She is.
So I wonder whether
she needed 128
yeah,
because she needs to go up 1 kilo over her.
Yeah, she needed a 128. So is this the correct call from the Fiji coaching staff? If she gets this, Faleata, big lift for her, huge.
No.
126, but it was brave, it was good, and it frightened the big guns. The New Zealander and the Australian were making note of what was going on, and she also saw off the New Zealander, Medea Jones, and also the Vanuatu lifter as well, Aja Pritchard Lola. So,
correct, but
that leaves just 2.
It's not going to get her on the podium.
It's not. Another Gilevu here. At the Worlds in Norway, finished 9th and did that with a 131 actually. Clean and jerk. Currently sitting behind Thikamatana with a 240 in the rankings. So 129. She knows the Australian is just out the back sitting on 140 before she comes out to play. Wide grip again.
Extremely wide grip.
She's done what the coaches wanted her to do. She's got a 129.
So that's her 240 there.
That's what they wanted from her. So there is the 240. Clears her out on the rest of the competition. Look at that wide grip, Rob.
That's an extremely wide grip for the jerk. It's not uncommon though.
So now what does she do with the third? She's lifting as a junior. Okay. She's lifting as a junior, so therefore she goes to clean and jerk at 131. She's having a crack at the junior Oceania record. So this is the crack at the junior Oceania record for this young lifter from New Zealand.
Right. What is the junior Oceania record?
I've got the junior Oceania record held by, I've got it at 128. Held by her, Com Games, India.
Right.
At 128. So she's going to try and have a crack at her own record set last year now. And you're telling me that weightlifting is boring? Give me a break.
I didn't tell you that.
129. She's got 132 of weights. So she's given up the attack on the Australian. She was brave in the snatch and brought out from the Australian an extraordinary 112 left. But now for her, the Australian is gone, but the record could be hers. Her own record could be hers again as she punches another 4 kilos into it and takes it up to 132.
Well, her last clean was promising, so let's have a look how she goes here.
Wide grip. A great evening of lifting from this young New Zealander. Boy, is she talented. Super stuff. Super stuff. Gave herself every opportunity.
She did.
The record just eluding her here tonight. It's been a long day. Taking on a world-class lifter like Tuanaimato has just emptied the tank a little bit. And talking of her champion, while all that was happening, this machine was out the back. She's come down from the 140. She's going to go to 133. And with this, she wins it. With this, she gets the gold. Oh, goodness. Pounds it into the platform. Brilliant stuff.
Now again, we go back to what we were saying before. What phase of training is she in? Is she training what we term as just training through this competition? In other words, not making any particular plans to peak at this competition and attack records? Is it just like a heavy training session for her?
Well, I would, knowing this guy, anything is possible.
Yep.
You just don't know. But theoretically, she treats it as a training exercise, doesn't she? Isn't that what he's done in the past?
Yes.
But she's got 140 on it now. So she did this in Saipan. But that's the old 87.
Yeah, look, she's not going to slip out of the top 8 ranking, so that side of calculations is under wraps. She's ranked first with 255. This will give her 252.
140. Just a little twisted. Get you to have a look at this, Rod. Tell us where this unwound a little bit. But boy, she's draining the tank a little bit here. She's certainly working hard. What's happened here?
Well, the clean is fine. There's no problems there.
So where does it come undone?
Sometimes in the jerk you have to make sure that when in the split position your feet are not close to being aligned in a straight line. So then it's as if you're walking a tightrope. So as she split, her feet were probably too close together, so she started to tip. Her normal jerking position is also just a little bit of a lean back and the lock is in front. So there's no problem with her leg strength. She's been squatting 200 kilos. Her lockout is fine, so there's no problem there. I think it's just a misalignment of the feet in that particular jerk, so she's just lost her balance.
Tuanaimato, she's blown away the competition. Consolidating her dominance in this weight category in the Commonwealth and world ranked as well. Not tonight.
No.
Eileen concedes the 140. She's done enough.
And in missing that second jerk, she may have just twinged
I just
a little bit of an injury in the hip or something like that. Yeah.
I'd like to see the walk down the corridor of champions.
I think she's got something wrong with the hip there.
Yeah,
she may
I think you're right. I just wonder whether they're going to let us have a look at her. No, can't see her. She hasn't. Yeah. Anyway, there's the confirmation. It was an audacious confrontation during the snatch between the New Zealander. Now, Danigeni Lavu had a real crack at the Australian Sikamatana. But in the end, an audacious 112 by Eileen saw off the New Zealander. And then that huge lift from her, that 133 was good. And that was enough to blow everyone out of the water, securing the gold medal for Australia. Eileen Sikamatana, and this wonderful partnership between she and Paul Copper continues. A 245 total for her. And the dark horse of all this, the B finisher, Sifalulu from Samoa, could sneak up onto the podium. We'll find that out a little bit later on. But for the moment, for us, after another magic day of weightlifting here at the IBFC Universal Cup, looking forward to another huge day tomorrow as well, because tell you what, the weights will really be thrown around when the 94 plus guys, those are the junior supers, get cracking. The men 110, then the women 86 pluses get cracking. That should be a lay down misère for Samoa. And then the 110 more against David Liddy, and perhaps a world champion chucked into the mix as well. Can you believe it? Can it get any better? Find out tomorrow when we're back for more IBFC Universal Cup. On behalf of the team here, TV1, it's good night from me, Brendan Telfer and Robert Cabas. Albert, we feel for you. Bro, you have no... Wow, he's done well. He has scissors in the new equipment by Jerome Ta. Looking pretty good with his 151. Let's see what the judges think. Well, he had to fight pretty hard, but he got there with his one. Third attempt. Well, he was determined to stick it.
Step back a little bit there because he doesn't want him to do this.
Nice off the platform. Two young Fiji junior men.
Oh, good.
That's
Well done.
And that's where his technique wins out for him, I reckon.
Well done. Good on him.
That's really good. '88 is done. It can also be a place of great pleasure, happiness, and accomplishment. And if that's the result, you'll be happy. That looked a little bit more accomplished. So a month or two up here in Samoa. Good power, does the job, 122.
Most natural waters are special. Something goes in there, comes out different. Natural Samoa water, the taste of nature in a bottle.
Skipper Tuna is the healthier choice for you. It's nutritious tuna flakes, packed in easy open cans. Get hooked on the great taste of Skipper Tuna today.
Universal Weightlifting Cup. To present the medals, I have the honor to call upon the Honourable Aulumalo Alofipo, Minister for Health, Justice Leituala Esepi Sialua, and Mr. Paul Coffer, General Secretary of the Oceania Weightlifting Federation. In the snatch competition, winning the bronze medal, Seifulu Sewau, Samoa. Winner of the silver medal, representing New Zealand, Latia Natagilevu. And your gold medalist representing Australia, Eileen Tikamatana. In the clean and jerk competition, thank you athletes. Winner, the bronze medal representing Samoa, Seifulu Sewau. Winner of the silver medal, representing New Zealand, Latia Nakalilevu. And your gold medalist representing Australia, Eileen Tikamatana. Thank you, medalists. In the total, winner of the bronze medal representing Samoa, Seifulu Sewau. Winner of the silver medal, representing New Zealand, Latia Natagilevu. And your gold medalist and Universal Cup champion, representing Australia, Eileen Tikamatana. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Australia. Congratulations, medalist. Thank you. In the Oceania Championships, winner of the bronze medal, representing Samoa, Seifulu Sewau. Winner of the silver medal, representing New Zealand, Latia Natagilevu. And your gold medalist and Oceania champion in 2026, representing Australia, Eileen Tikamatana. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise again for the national anthem of Australia. Congratulations to the medalists. Thank you. The next presentation will be the Oceania Juniors. Please welcome the Oceania Junior Championship medalists. The Oceania Junior Championships. Winner the bronze medal representing Nauru, Destiny Wera. But we understand Destiny is not in the auditorium, so we'll move on. Winner of the silver medal representing Samoa, Sefulu Sewao. And your gold medalist, Oceania Junior Champion in 2026, representing New Zealand, Letia Natagilevu. Congratulations, lifters. Thank you. We come to the in the Commonwealth Junior Championships. Winner the bronze medal representing Nauru, Destiny Wera, but she is not in the auditorium. Representing the silver medal representing Samoa, Sefulu Sewao. And your gold medalist and Commonwealth Junior Champion in 2026, representing New Zealand, Letia Natagilevu. Please congratulate our Commonwealth Junior medalists in 2026. Thank you, medalists. Thank you, distinguished presenters. That concludes the medal ceremony for the women's 88 Group A. Thank you very much. Next competition starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. The men's 94 plus competition. Thank you.